Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to You Might Be Old If You Remember This Part 9. I don't really react to these in order, and I've not reacted to a lot of these videos, but I saw this was posted a few days ago and I thought, yeah, I find these videos fascinating, seeing things, items that people used to use and now aren't used, and it's just fascinating to see how things change really. But we're going to check this one out, hopefully going to enjoy, and yeah, links are also in the description to my Patreon where you can see reactions that I can't post to YouTube. But let's check this out and see if I know about any of these things and if I've ever seen them and stuff like that.
It's funny how small, seemingly unimportant details from the past stir your emotions and your memories. From simple tasks to forgotten products, these details fill our lives from a very young age. But as time ticks on, we forget about some of the small things. So it's always fun to look back and find more that remind us of those simple times. So you might be old if you remember this. In the past, it was relatively common for grown-ups to send their children to the local convenience stores with handwritten
Is this to get cigarettes? This one, I've seen this one before. This one blew my mind.
notes. Usually it was to pick up a pack of cigarettes. This was something that was prevalent in an era when smoking was much more widespread. The note would typically specify the brand and the quantity of cigarettes to buy, and the kid would have cash to pay for it. This was a time when the storekeeper knew many of their customers, and it wasn't unusual for them to honor the note.
Mental, you know, that's wild.
Before home electronics became much more affordable, some people often rented equipment like televisions and VCRs.
What?
Big heavy TVs could be rented from places like Curtis Mathis, and they would deliver it to your door. While VCRs were commonly
$9.95 per day includes 2 free movies. This would have been like, this is crazy to look back at, but this would have been such an enjoyable day. If you were a kid or just anyone really who got to rent this for like an evening, like a Sunday evening, that would have been, you must have been very excited for those kinds of moments. You'd savor it a lot more. Crazy to think about, but it was what it was, right?
available at video rental stores. This made using newer technology a bit more affordable for those that needed something for a special occasion. Tinker toys and Lincoln logs are classic toys that have been enjoyed for generations. But when was the last time you saw them being used? Tinker toys consisted of wooden spools and sticks that could be interconnected to build various structures, encouraging creativity and fine motor skills. Lincoln logs, on the other hand, were small wooden logs with notches that fit together, enabling kids to build log cabins. Both toys were very popular 50 years ago, and they have left a lasting legacy as timeless toys. But
It's like Lego before Lego. Although I think Lego probably was around in these times, but it just seems like sort of similar. You could build stuff pretty much. So maybe it's just it looks more adult, but this is for kids. I don't know, when was Lego even made? Because this looks like it would have been kind of similar, but maybe Lego just wasn't as big back then.
it's difficult to compete with the video games and iPads that kids are addicted to today.
I mean, Lego's still popular.
Recollection Road is proud to partner with Legacy.
Getting their money. Go on, 7-Up.
Incredible 55% off. Hand-painted signs on buildings were a common way for businesses to advertise in the pre-digital age.
Oh, damn.
Skilled sign painters would use brushes and paint to create intricate and colorful signs that were large and attention-grabbing.
They look cool as well. Like they're not like eyesores. They look like they look and they stand out. Like they look like they fit in the areas. I mean, maybe not necessarily that, but they look quite cool.
The brick buildings along Main Street were the perfect canvases, often featuring elaborate typography and eye-catching designs, adding character to many downtown areas. With the rise of modern printing techniques, sign painters have all but disappeared.
I cannot read this one. Real estate, 456th Avenue. I don't even know what that word is. Algonquin? What the hell is that? I have no idea what that is. 4187.
Luckily, small towns across the country still have some of these faded ghost signs, and in many cases, they are working to preserve them too.
That's cool. I like that a lot. that they're keeping them.
Before the introduction of the self-sticking postage stamp, people had to moisten the back of a stamp with their tongue to activate the glue, and then affix it to an envelope. This was back when writing letters and putting things in the mail was a daily thing. Who remembers when a stamp cost just 6 cents? Well, if you do, then you certainly remember licking the back of hundreds of stamps to mail your share of letters.
Damn.
Cigarette vending machines were once a typical thing you might find in a bar or restaurant.
Cigarette
It was
vending
all about
machines.
convenience, and these machines allowed people to buy a pack of cigarettes in places where there tended to be more smoking.
They must have been like a good money maker, because I assume they would have upped the price a little bit. People drinking out of pubs and stuff or bars, they're bound to smoke, right? Especially in this era as well. But just in general, people love to smoke socially. So these must have made a lot of money for pubs and stuff. But also, why would they stop these? Because I feel like they'd still do quite well. Like, it's wild to think about, but if they were just in bars or like pubs and stuff, I feel like they'd make a lot of money. But I'm not too sure. Maybe there's reasons for it, maybe laws and stuff.
So for the chain smoker who spent a lot of time at these gathering spots, they were cherished machines. Since then, cigarette vending machines have largely disappeared from the American commercial landscape. Avon is still a well-known cosmetics company, but there was a time when selling Avon meant going door to door. Women, often
What?
referred to as Avon Ladies, would make their way around the neighborhoods building a clientele of friends and neighbors who
damn.
swore by Avon products. For many women, this gave them flexibility when it came to working and raising a family. The Avon Lady pitch was important, so when they would visit a home, the products would always be demonstrated. From makeup to household products, Avon built a loyal customer base by selling their products door to door.
That's fair enough,
Lead.
man. They got to start from somewhere, right? And now it's one of the biggest brands in the world, or cosmetic healthcare brands, I guess you could say.
This is a brand of pantyhose that used to be sold in large plastic eggs. These egg-shaped containers were distinctive and made legs a popular choice when it came to buying pantyhose.
What?
The packaging actually helped prevent runs in the hosiery and made them easily recognizable on store shelves. Not only would women buy these pantyhose, but the egg-shaped container would often be reused for other purposes, including as makeshift toys for kids.
Makeshift toys. Fair enough.
Do you remember watching some of these old game shows on daytime TV?
I wonder how different they used to be. I feel like on these ones, the things you'd win on the game show would be like, I don't know, £100 voucher for a bookshop, or I mean, just like, I guess like certain like things like now, if you had a game show, right, it's just all about the most money, so it's thousands of pounds. But these times, it probably would have been like a washing machine and stuff like that, because I guess in these times they're a lot more expensive, but also a lot, I guess, it depends, maybe if it's like the 50s and 60s, like TVs and stuff like that, and like the newest TVs, you'd win those kinds of things. Completely different to how it would be now.
The Draw Your Favorite contest was a marketing campaign used by the art instruction schools in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was a correspondence course program that taught aspiring artists how to draw. And it would all start with an ad in a magazine or a newspaper. Kids would be encouraged to draw a turtle or a pirate and submit their test for a chance to win prizes or even scholarships to the art school. For a kid, these ads were always tempting because many of us grew up reading comics and seeing cartoons that made being an artist seem like the perfect job.
Now that one's cool. That's my favorite one so
Raggedy
far.
Ann and Andy were dolls created to accompany a series of books in the 1920s.
They're creepy.
The beloved dolls became staples in pretty much every kid's room during the middle part of the century.
See, these are the type of dolls, right? I mean, even when you first get them, they look creepy. But like in 50, 60, 70, 80 years time, you find this doll like in someone's attic. You're shitting yourself.
The dolls had red yarn for hair, stitched faces, and simple clothing, and the dolls showed up in books and on television, making them popular with children. Raggedy Ann and Andy became an enduring icon of childhood, making them not only keepsakes, but also highly collectible.
They are quite cute though.
Burger Chef
In a way.
was known for its hamburgers. Ordering a Big Chef and heading over to the Works bar to dress it up was always a treat. This restaurant was special, from the architecture of the building and signage, to the food offerings, which included the first kids meal called the Fun Burger. It was Burger Chef and Jeff that were the face of the restaurant, and the characters had kids asking to go to Burger Chef quite often. Today, Burger Chef is still fondly remembered as one of America's favorite fast food places.
So how did it fail? Like in another world, Burger Chef could be what McDonald's is now. So I don't really know why this fell off. If it was so popular, why? I guess he's gonna say, right? But
Although it was sold to Hardee's back in 1982.
So what did they do with it? Did they just turn it into another? Is Hardee's a name of a restaurant? I don't even know.
Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. And make sure...
Oh, that's it, man. Oh, he's getting his ad right at the end, right? Come on, getting his money. Well, there we go. You might be old if you remember this. I mean, I definitely don't remember any of these, but it's fascinating to look back at these things. And some of you who maybe did experience these things, it's a nice little throwback and stuff like that. But hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. And until next time.